Why is brand building important?
You want to know what it will take for this business to break even.
Need plus action equals value.
You sure?
Understand the market that you are operating in.
How do you make sure that you are successful?
And what happens should you preach?
What one thing could we improve?
Start with why.
Come.
Come.
Journey with us.
Hugo, I just came across this article. Says 7 out of 10 companies will go bust within the first 5 years. Did you know that?
7 out of 10. That's a shocking statistic.
That's what it says. It comes also from a credible source. What do you think we can do about that?
Well, there's lots of factors that affect how successful a business can be. Sales, finances, operations management. I'd like to discuss operations management in a bit more detail. I think that can help. Let's just go over to the board and discuss it.
Good day, my name is Hartwig Rothkegel and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Windhoek. As a Chief Operating Officer, I've seen many small and medium and large companies fail. And the reason for that are multitude. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Hugo Capelao, our Head of Business Reengineering, who will help us to understand and unpack why operations management is so critical for your business success.
Operations management isn't just about making things more efficient. It's about creating a foundation that allows the purpose of a business that you've created to shine through consistently.
The greatest organizations in the world, the ones that inspire us, all have something in common. They don't just sell a product or a service, they sell consistency and trust. And that's exactly what good operations create. A business that delivers consistently on its promises, day in and day out.
In Namibia, small businesses face unique challenges. Limited access to funding, unpredictable supply chains, limited market size and access, and a critical skills shortage. And there's also high competition in urban areas like Windhoek and Swakopmund.
You might think operations management is just for large corporations with fancy titles and big budgets. Guys, it's not.
Operations management is actually your secret weapon for survival. It's about doing more with less. It's about making smart decisions when resources are tight.
Hugo, please tell us, what are the building blocks of effective operations management?
Think about why you started your business in the first place. Was it because of freedom, making an impact, or creating something meaningful? And here's the irony. Without good operations, you'll never achieve the freedom or the impact. You'll be trapped working in the day-to-day of your business rather than on your business. So today, we'll discuss 4 building blocks of operations that we also consider when we design processes. And if you stick till the end, we'll throw in a 5th one that's actually quite timely.
Now, let's talk about the first building block of operations excellence. Great organizations don't just have great ideas, they have great execution. And execution starts with clear processes.
The question is, do your processes exist only in your head? And if they do, you've created a business that can't possibly function without you. Without them being written down, you're the only one that knows how to steer the ship. What happens when you need a day off? And what happens when you want to grow the business? Writing the processes down isn't just a bureaucracy, it's liberation. It's what allows your business to scale beyond your personal capacity. It also enables other building blocks that we're going to be discussing.
That's absolutely right, Hugo. And this is especially critical for small business owners who find themselves wearing multiple hats, from the CEO to a handyman and everything in between.
So here's a simple action that you can take. Choose one business process this week in your business. Write down each step as if you were explaining it to someone who's never done it before. Then ask yourself, can this be simplified? Can we eliminate some of the parts? The next one that follows is employee accountability. How do you ensure that employees are actually following the process that you've documented?
Your team members need to know exactly what they're responsible for and how their work connects to the bigger picture. They need to understand what success looks like and how it's measured.
This ties into streamlining your business processes. How can employees execute if they don't know what they're accountable for, or how success looks like for that matter? When your team understands both what they need to do and why it matters, they start to take ownership.
Here's your action step. Create one-page role descriptions with your team. List their 3 most important responsibilities and expectations in a measurable form. Use your documented processes to show them how their role fits into the bigger picture. Small businesses often struggle with resource constraints. You're competing against bigger players with deeper pockets. That means you need to be smarter about how you use what you have, be it your time, your team's talents, your equipment, your inventory, and yes, your cash.
The organizations that thrive with limited resources understand something profound. Constraints drive innovation. When resources are abundant, we can get complacent. When resources are scarce, we have to get creative. Think about it. Some of the world's most innovative companies started in garages with limited resources. They had to find clever ways to solve problems because they couldn't just throw money at it. So it's important to ask, do we have enough resources? But it's also worth asking, are we actually using them as well as we can?
And here's a practical action step. Identify your most expensive resource, whether that's a piece of equipment, inventory, or even your own time. Track its usage for 2 to 4 weeks. Look at patterns of waste. Then use your documented processes to see what changes you could make to reduce that waste.
Now let's talk about an area where many small businesses struggle, which can actually be their competitive advantage. I'm talking about customer service.
Google customer service isn't just about being friendly. It's about delivering value through a systematic approach that drives loyalty. It's keeping your promises to the customer in terms of quality, price, and turnaround time. Customer service is the outcome of good operations.
Agreed. Every great brand we admire delivers a consistent customer experience. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. Here's what most businesses get wrong about customer service. They treat it as a department rather than an outcome of everything that they do. The organizations that create loyal customers understand that customer experience is built into their operations, not added after the fact.
The question isn't, how do we handle customer complaints? The better question is, how do we design operations that prevent those complaints in the first place? This brings us to yet another action step. Create a simple system to capture customer feedback. Ask one specific question. What one thing could we improve? Take note of recurring themes and fix these issues before they become major patterns.
So let's bring all of this together that we've discussed: your process, employee accountability, resource management, customer service, with a practical exercise. Hartwig, follow me to the screen so that we can take the viewers through how they can actually do this at home. Let's imagine that the two of us have a business. We'll call it Hartwig and Hugo's furniture business. One of the processes that we might want to look at is the customer order fulfillment. First of all, you would define the steps of how that happens. So for example, we receive an order from the customer, we confirm the design and the requirements and the price with the customer, we receive their deposit, we buy the material needed to make whatever furniture it is, we assemble it, we deliver it, and then we receive full payment. So that's just a brief summary of what the process could be. Now, as we previously said, it's important that there be employee accountability. So what can you tell us about that?
It's important that you also understand who is accountable for every step. Do not assign 2 or 3 names to one step, because as we all know, nobody will be responsible in the end. To take one example, Hugo, the receptionist should ultimately be responsible for receiving the customer order. And it should also be the receptionist at the very end that should receive the full payment.
The other important thing to do, and this speaks to resource management, is what are the actual inputs and outputs of the process, and what tools or systems are we using in executing them. So if we take one example of receiving the customer order done by the receptionist, the input would be the actual order from the customer, which could be received either by telephone, via WhatsApp, email, or if the customer walks in person. And then the output of that step would be the confirmed customer order. The output of one step ends up being the input of the next step. That's actually by design, because it also allows you to look at it when it comes to resource management to see where one thing can have an influence on another if not done properly. So if the order isn't captured properly, it may impact the quality of the design that's done after the fact. So once we've covered the resource utilization, it's also important to consider customer service. What can you tell us about that?
The key is here to deliver on your promises every day, every time.
The 5th building block is AI and automation. I know many small business owners are probably thinking to themselves, I don't have that kind of budget. This isn't something that I can participate in. That's not the case anymore. there are quite a few free tools available that you can use. And the same way we recommend that you pick one process and expand on it and try and understand it or analyze it, it's the same with either AI or technology. Pick one, try it out, and then see what improvements you can get in your business from it. And as it works, then expand and pick another.
What tools are out there that are open source, free of charge, for our listeners and viewers to use?
There are free word processing software and spreadsheets like WPS Office and LibreOffice that you can use to create a form that at least aligns how the information is captured. And then in terms of website building or e-commerce systems, there are some free tools like Odoo, Wix. Wave is an accounting package. It doesn't actually do e-commerce or websites, but combined, it actually allows you to digitize some of your processes. And then for customer communication and marketing, there's WhatsApp for Business. And for AI use and graphics, there's various tools.
AI and digital tools have the power to transform business operations by delivering valuable information and enabling the creation of practical resources. For instance, in our furniture manufacturing business example, we use several of these tools to create the following: a receptionist job description, order taking procedure, customer satisfaction survey, resource management template, social media post, and an advertising poster. And this is only the beginning of what's possible.
On this note, I want to thank everyone who's been watching on this episode of Masterclass on Operational Management. And I want to thank Hugo Capelao, Head of Business Reengineering at Bank Windhoek, for spending time with us this afternoon. Your business doesn't need to be one of the 7 that fails within the first 5 years. It's up to you to make a change, and it's up to you to make that first step. Leave a comment down below about your journey.
Thank you, Hartwig. Come, journey with us.